Okay, before we begin on our lesson of reviewing division by one digit, I wanted to pull this up and show you. We're going to get into a little bit more looking at our divisibility rules tomorrow. You guys already know a bunch of them just from the calendar and just from learning your facts, but I thought this was a pretty nice way of doing it, and it gives you a whole lot. It gives you lots of them. We're not going to be worried about trying to find it for all of them. Just the basic ones is what we'll do. But so it has where if the last digit of the number is even, then it's an even number, so it's divisible by 2. If the sum of your digits is divisible by 3, so remember we said that digital root, take it all the way down to one digit by adding them up, is 3, 6, or 9, then it's divisible by 3. 4, I'm not as worried about as much but it's there for you to have. So if the last 4 digits are divisible by 4, then the whole number is divisible by 4. 5 is another easy one. If it ends in 5 or 0, of course, it's divisible by 5. 6 we've talked about as well. If it's divisible by 2 and 3, then it's divisible by 6. 7's got a lot going on to it, but there it is for you if you want to go ahead and learn it too. Then I'm going to skip down to 9 because, again, that digital root, if the digital root is 9, then it's divisible by 9. Then, of course, 10, if it's divisible by 0. I'm sorry, if it ends in a 0, it's divisible by 10. And then, of course, 11, it is the same number until you get into more than more than the 2 digits, and then the outside numbers will add up to the inside number. And then 12 is like 6, but it's 3 and 4, which makes sense because the 2's been doubled. So it's divisible by 3 and 4. It's also divisible by 12. So I just wanted to send this home with you guys so that you had it to look at. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our lesson on just reviewing dividing by one digit.
Today we're going to be looking at division and reviewing our vocabulary and reviewing dividing by a one-digit divisor. So first, let's go over our vocabulary. So we have the dividend, which is the amount that's going to be divided up or shared, and how many we are going to divide by or we're going to be sharing with would be your divisor. That's how many groups we're going to be trying to make. And then when you divide your dividend by your divisor, you get your answer, which is the quotient. And then anything left over would, of course, be the remainder that you also sometimes have. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at a problem that we can do to review our dividing by one-digit divisor. Okay. So here we go. First thing that we do is we look at 3 and we see how many groups of 3 can be made out of 7. And so I can make 2 groups. So that means I know that there are going to be 3 digits in my answer. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 digit blanks up there. And so there can be 3 can go into 7 2 times. So I can make 2 groups of 3 out of the 7. So you put your 2 on the top. And then 3 times 2 is 6. So you multiply those and put it down here and then subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. So 1 is less than 3, so I could not make any more groups of 3. So then I bring down the 2. And 3 can go into 12. I can make 4 groups of 3 out of 12. So put your 4 on top. And 3 times 4 is 12. So 12 comes down. And then I subtract. And I got 0. Which I can't make any groups of 3 out of 0, so I bring down the 1. And 3 can go into 1 0 times. I cannot make any groups of 3 out of the 1. So you put your 0 up top, because then we had to have their 3 digits. And then I have a remainder of 1. Okay? So remember at every step to be sure you stop and see, make sure you after you subtract, to see could I make any more groups to catch up in case you might have missed one. All right? So that's how it goes. That's all there is to it. So make sure you get those words, the words down with their definitions. So let's review those one more time. You have your divisor, what you're dividing by, your quotient, which is the answer to the division problem, and your dividend, which is the amount that is going to be divided up, the one that's going to be shared. And sometimes if there's anything left over, it's called the remainder. All right, don't forget to bring in the definitions tomorrow and any questions that you might have.